Approval routing. iSpec has an optional approval routing function. This allows you to route the completed version of a document to various departments and users to give their final approval before signatures or distribution. This is separate from the section-level editing approval that occurs during document creation. Configuring the approval routing was covered in the previous video. If you need to know how to configure the system, please watch the setup video first. Add a new document, and enter all the details. It's important to select the correct document type that the approval routing has been linked to. After the document has been created, a new approval routing button will appear. Click the Route for Approval button, select an approval routing from the workflow menu. The routing diagram will display which approval functions are linked to the approval routing. In this example we will pick an approval routing which has both financial and non-financial approval functions. Enter a financial value. Depending on the value entered, will depend on what users are available to be selected as approvers. If the approval is urgent, check the urgent box. The system will then send an email to each approver when they need to approve the document. When an approval routing is created, a version of the document is saved, and can be rolled back at a later date if necessary. A version name will be auto-generated but can be changed to suit. Enter an optional comment, then click Save to create the approval routing. The document will now be locked. If further editing is required, it will need to be unlocked, edited, then locked again. After the approval routing has been created, it can be edited by clicking the Route for Approval button again. If any changes are made, the approvers will need to be re-added. Next we need to add the approvers. All the users who have approval functions configured in their user profile will be listed. By default, only the users in the same business unit will be listed. To list all users, check the All Units box. Select the users and document role access for each approval function. You can select the same, or different users for each approval function. User role access, approval order, or deleting users can all be changed until the approval routing is started. If any changes need to be made while the approval routing is in progress, the approval process will need to be deleted and re-added. Now all the approvers have been added, we can start the approval routing. In this example, we have configured the approval functions differently. The first approval function has been configured so that the document is approved in order of the list. After both users have approved, this approval function is complete. In the second approval function, either user can approve the document first. After one of them has approved the document, this approval function is also complete, and the approvals are finished. This shows an example of the different combinations for the approval process. Click the Start Approval Routing button. The first approver will then see an Approve Reject button, as well as an action at the top of the document. Click the Approve Reject button, enter the password, and add an optional comment. After the user has approved the document, the action will be removed, and the status in the Routing Manager will be updated for that user. When the next user in the approval list logs into the DMS system, they will see an action to approve the document has appeared in the dashboard. Repeat the process to approve the document. Now both users have approved the document, the status is updated for both, and that approval function is now complete. The next approval function will then automatically start. Repeat the process for approving the second function. As we have configured this approval function so that only one of the two users are needed for approval, after any user has approved the function, the approvals are complete. The status for both users will be updated, and will show as skipped for one user. Now all the approvals are complete, the system will now auto-generate a table showing the approval details. A PDF document with the version name will also be generated, and can be downloaded from the information bar at the top of the document. Even though the approval process is complete, the document can still be unlocked and edited, however the approval routings will need to be set up and approved again. As well as approving the document, users can also mark it as rejected by clicking the Reject button. A comment must be entered before the approval function is rejected. If any user rejects the approval function, the whole process is stopped, and marked as rejected in the information bar at the top of the document. Even if the document is approved or rejected, any of the approval functions can be redone by clicking the Redone icon. All users who have previously approved the function will then need to approve again. Finally, at any time, the approval routing can be deleted from within the Approval Routing Manager. The document will then need to be unlocked if it requires additional editing. Anytime a document is unlocked, approvals restarted, or deleted, the approval confirmation table is removed from the document. If necessary, the routing approval can be set up again, or ignored.